Okay, we're going to do some order of operations problems. One thing we want to remember is we will follow PEMDAS, which is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction. And remember, when we have parentheses, we are essentially following order of operations inside the parentheses. So before we begin, you notice that we have these brackets here, but we also have the parentheses here. We have to do the parentheses before we can do the brackets. So let me just erase that real quick. Okay, so we're going to first do the regular parentheses. And if you look inside that parentheses, you have exponents and division. So you still have to follow order of operations. So I am going to do my exponents first. And I remember that 3 cubed is really 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So that is 27. And then I am going to copy everything I have left exactly like it is, and be careful to copy it correctly. Now, I still have parentheses to do. So I'm going to do the 27 divided by 9, which is 3. So I'm going to write that, and then again, copy everything that I have left. So what would be next? Next would be 21 minus 3. So, and I just put the 3 in parentheses just in case if there was something else, but we really didn't need it there. But I'm going to do 21 minus 3, which is 18. And I'm copying everything left. I really don't need those brackets. I just did it in case there was something there, but it really doesn't make a difference in this case. And now I'm just left with 18 plus negative 6. And if we remember our integer rules, when you're adding, if they're different signs, you're actually going to subtract. So I'm going to subtract 18 minus 6, and my answer is going to be 12. This next one, we have 4 plus 3 times 2 squared minus 8 divided by 2. When I'm doing this, you notice that you have the squared, but right here, this whole thing of parentheses must be taken care of before it can interact with that exponent. But again, I'm going to follow order of operations within my parentheses. So I have addition and multiplication. Multiplication is going to come first. So that means I am going to do 3 times 2 first. And 3 times 2 is 6. And I'm going to copy everything left. And now next, I still have parentheses. So that would be 4 plus 6 that I'm going to do. And 4 plus 6 is 10. And I copy everything left. And I did include those parentheses only because there's an exponent there. So that would make a difference, because if there was a negative there, that does make a difference. So now I have exponents. There's nothing left to do in parentheses. That parentheses is just like a grouping symbol there. But I'm going to do 10 squared, which, careful, that is not 20. 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100. Then I copy everything I have left. So now I have 100 minus 8 divided by 2. What would we do next? 8 divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and I copy everything I have left. So now I have 100 minus 4, what's 100 minus 4? 96. So my answer is 96. So when I simplified that expression, it was 96. Okay, try this one on your own. and then push play and we'll go back over it. So with this, we have two separate terms. We have 8 plus this whole thing right here. So we have to take care of that whole thing. Now, what's that fraction bar really mean? Divide. So I have to do the top, then divide it by 2, then I can add it to 8. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start with 12 minus 8. And 12 minus 8 is 4. Then I'm going to copy everything that's left. Okay, so I've done that, and now I have exponents to do. So I'm going to do 4 squared, which again is 4 times 4. So that's 16. And then I copy everything else that I have left. So now I have 8 plus 16 divided by 2, because that's really just a division bar, right? Even if you thought of it as a fraction, you could simplify that fraction. So that is going to be 16 divided by 2 is 8. Then I copy everything I have left, so that I'm now left with 8 plus 8, which is 16. Okay, this next one is a little bit trickier, and here's what I need you to know. You've got to be careful. I know that we see minus and negative, and we automatically want to do plus, 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 plus. However, don't do that. We cannot do that. And the reason why is because it's not just minus and negative. You've got this right here, this exponent, so you're not just subtracting a negative 3, you're subtracting a negative 3 squared, so you cannot do that. So we're going to erase that. Now, there are invisible parentheses around here and then around here. So you've got this scary looking problem, and it's really just something on top to do and something on bottom to do. So we're going to do that. So looking at this, on the top, the first thing we would do is parentheses. And on parentheses, I see negative 4 minus 9. Okay, so I know negative 4 minus 9, that's the same thing as negative 4 plus negative 9, which would be negative 13. So I have negative 13, and then I'm just going to copy everything I have left there, including that negative sign. I mean the parentheses, I'm sorry, the parentheses. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom step as well. The thing on the bottom says negative 3 plus 5, which would be what? That would be 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the bottom. So I just kind of did 2 steps in one. Now what I'm going to do is I have to do exponents. So here's where you have to be careful. Notice that this negative 3 squared, the negative and 3 is in parentheses. That makes a difference because that means that that is actually negative 3 times negative 3, which is what? Positive 9. So that is a positive 9. And then I'm going to copy everything I have left that I did not highlight. So I've got this. And I can go ahead and make, because I've taken care of everything else, I can make that a plus plus there. So that becomes plus 13, then divided by 2. So notice that that 9 became positive, so we definitely could not do that plus plus. So I'm now going to do 10 minus 9, which is 1. So now I have 1 plus 13 divided by 2. So I'm going to do 1 plus 13, which is 14, divided by 2. And 14 divided by 2 is 7. So this expression simplifies to 7. Okay, we're going to do another one. All right, so looking at this problem, there's actually a couple things we'll need to talk about as we do this. But I am going to go ahead and follow PEMDAS, GEMDAS, whatever you want to call it, the order of operations. So I do have parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and do -6 plus 20 first. In -6 plus 20, they're different signs, so I'm going to subtract. And when I subtract them, I'll get 14, and there's more positives than negatives, so that is going to be 14. And I'll copy everything else just like it is. Okay, so now, next, I've done all the parentheses. I have exponents. Now, here's where we have to be very careful. The exponents I have to do is 2 to the 4th. Notice I didn't highlight that negative sign because it's not grouped in parentheses. It's not part of the base. So it is not part of what's getting multiplied over and over. So that's 2 to the 4th power. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 4, 8, 16. So that's 16, and I'm going to copy everything that I have left exactly as it is. Okay, now here's where we can go 2 different ways. I know that next I have, I've got some multiplication and division here. But is this a fraction? Is this multiplication? I'm not really sure. But if I look at this, that's going to simplify. You can always simplify a fraction before you work with it. So even if it was like 6/8, I mean, if it was 6/8, I could simplify that to 3/4 before I do anything with it. Okay, so -12/4 I can actually simplify. So I'm actually going to do that first. -12/4 is another way to say -12 divided by 4. And what is -12 divided by 4? That is -3. So I'm going to write that and then copy everything left. So now I have -16 plus 14 times -3. So next that I would do would be that multiplication of 14 times -3. So don't try to come over here and do the math there. Go to the side to do it. Okay, I'm going to go to the side and do 14 times 3. So that would be 42, but that's going to be a -42. So I now have -16 plus -42. So I'm going to do that next. They're the same signs, so I'm going to add them. And I am going to get 58. Now that's going to be a -58. So there is my answer. Now you're like, but yeah, should I have really done that up there? So I want us to go back to this step. Okay, I had -16 plus 14 times -12/4. I could have taken this and done that as a multiplication problem. 14/1 times -12/4. Then you're like, can I cross cancel? Yes, 4 would become 2, 14 would become 7. But again, look, if you look right here, I have -12/2. That can simplify itself. So you could really do that right there and make that 6/1. And then I've got top times top, bottom times bottom. And, you know, that negative's still there. So that's 7 times -6. That's -42/1, which is just -42. So I'd be left with -16 plus -42, just like I was before that. So you're going to get the exact same thing.